morning, everyone, and welcome to Brilliant Brain. It's very exciting today. We are going to be working on your frontal lobe, Genius Brain, and all of its wonderful function. Do sign in. Let me know who's here. I'm super excited. This is our very special fourth class. Next class, we'll be actually focusing in on specific problem areas in the brain, but this completes the full activation of the 5 brains. And then next week, like I said, we'll be focusing in on the specific areas of the brain that people always say, I'd really like to get this tuned up better. So good morning, everyone. I'm super excited to be at this phase of regeneration. This is really our breakthrough day. And we're getting the cascade of new cell growth growing in each part of the brain. Now, I do want you to remember that part of the process of brain regeneration is keeping yourself in the quantum pleasure field. And so you're going to want to be, doing the half-hour meditation every day. We've given you Brilliant Brain. I think you all have Fatigue to Fabulous, and many of you have many of my meditations. So any meditation that's a half an hour long that I've taken you through is going to be good because it takes you into the quantum pleasure field. So just remember that's part of the regeneration. And days to regenerate, we're really looking at about 6 months of new cell growth. So just anticipate and imagine that the brain keeps getting better as days progress. So first days of regeneration are just a few cells growing new. At 6 months, you have probably millions of new cells growing. So welcome, welcome, welcome. We're going to start with our slides, start with a blessing, and then I will get to the greetings. I hope some of you have already started seeing some changes in your brain. I would anticipate the early regeneration we did in the survival brain might be noticing that you're calmer, more relaxed, more grounded, more centered. So yeah, let me know if you've seen any breakthroughs yet, any miracles. Okay, we'll start with our blessing. Vakratunda Makaya Koti Surya Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurme Devo Sarva Kayeshu Sarvada. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Aim Saraswatiye Swaha. Dum Durgaye Namaha. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Today, our training Brain 4, brain regeneration rather. The Genius Brain frontal lobe has access to both the inner and outer workings of genius, yet so few people actually use this brain at all, or use it only for remedial functions that it offers. And that's really when I was doing brain readings and doing so many, really several thousand brain readings in a year, I noticed that the frontal lobe was only used at about between 4 and 10%, where other parts of the brain were used quite a bit more. And today, we're going to fine-tune for your amping up your ability to use your brilliance and your genius that you were created to be. Now, we're going to go through all the aspects of the frontal lobe, and there are many just remedial functions, and we're going to get them tuned up too. So here's a little comic relief, some silly little images, cartoon images about the frontal lobe and Genius Brain. We're going to start right away with pumping to clear permission, right, and ability to be brilliant, to access the higher quantum mind, and to fully integrate the frontal lobe abilities. So we're going to be clearing Lucifer stops, bloodline, demonic curses, evil spirit curses, group mind, virus, curses, atheist thought forms, karma, alien type 3 and 8 implants, mechanisms, and permeations. So for those of you who are really comfortable pumping, now is the time to get started on this clearing while I do the demonstration on the hand movements for the quantum pump and muscle testing. All right, so first of all, the quantum pump itself. The quantum pump itself is elbow at side, right down here, and you're pumping to, there we go, like that. And it looks like that from the side. And it looks like this from the side. It's a hand, the hand is actually falling forward. It's not squeezing, not like that, just very simple, falling forward. Double pump, you can do it this way, do it this way. Perfectly fine to do it with the left hand. Slightly less effective, but perfectly fine if that's the hand you prefer. If you can't do it with your hands or your feet, you can do it in your mind. The discrete pump, so if you're out in the world and you're walking around, you can do a discrete side pump there. It's just like a flutter. You can do a flutter. And the foot pump, when you're sitting, I wouldn't recommend trying to do that balancing, although maybe a good kind of workout exercise. You're trying to do that while you're working out. Okay, yeah, it helps with balance, right? Okay, so everyone is pumping, so that's the quantum pump. Quantum pump works because we're accessing the quantum field. And in spirituality, we learn about the oneness of everything and the oneness of the field. And we're really looking at that same field in science. The quantum field is defined as we're all part of a field of particles vibrating. And based on how the particles are vibrating, you get a globe or a bouquet of flowers or Julie Renee. And what we're doing is we're setting an intention with our mind, what the mind can conceive and believe it will accomplish. And then we're using our hand movement to access the higher frequencies of the field where change is possible. So you can't just think a thought and make it change necessarily, but by doing this extra little movement, so we think a thought and then we activate that higher frequency of the field to make the change. So that's what we're doing with the quantum pump. And there are two kinds of physics. The Newtonian physics is the gravity and apple falling from the tree, and what you see is what you get. And quantum is the oneness field, that field of particles vibrating. And by setting your intention with your mind clearly and then doing the quantum pump, we're able to affect change. Okay, and then the muscle testing defined in 1976 by a chiropractor. I'm gonna show you how I teach my students, and you are my student, using the right hand, forefinger, pressing down, straight up and down. Okay, and then it's the forefinger, the pointer finger, middle, the middle knuckle between the two knuckles, and you're just pressing down. You're holding the finger very, very firmly. I'm Julie Renee. I'm Bozo the Clown. And so it will become weak. The muscle will actually become weak and drop when you're saying something that isn't true. Okay, so you can practice that. I know I've demonstrated that many times now in this class, so you should be starting to get it. We do have a muscle testing 101 class coming up in the fall. If that's a challenge for you, I really encourage you to get on the muscle testing 101 class and just work out the kinks for yourself on muscle testing. You're welcome to use any style that you want of muscle testing. I don't recommend dowsing or any other kind of version of that, or rocking. Use muscle testing itself. Okay, and let me just see. We're going to go through, we're going to enter into brain regeneration very shortly, but we're clearing right now, so everybody's pumping. And I do want to talk about the frontal lobe and Genius Brain good function, poor function, all of that. Before I do that, though, why don't we pop up to the chat box now and say good morning to people as we're pumping for the clearing. Okay, so Maria and Tammy and Francesca and Cindy and Nila, Victoria, Carolyn, Diane, Barbara, Penny, May, Gary, Mary, Nadia, Severina, Patty, Vanessa, Seville Maria, Roxanne, Rosa, Sharon, Darshan, Mai, Penny May, Melissa, Christy, Heather, Yeshwant, Janice, Margot, Tammy. I've noticed I'm sleeping through the night. I'm also noticing that I'm absorbing my nutrient supplements better. That's fantastic, Tammy. Nice breakthrough. Diane, Heather, my survival brain feels lighter where there used to be pain along the occiput. Now, no discomfort, for which I am grateful. That is fantastic. And from Asha, good morning. Okay, wonderful. All right, so a couple breakthroughs happening. Probably all are having some breakthroughs. Sometimes we don't pay attention and kind of notice, well, what has shifted? But it might be kind of interesting to take stock this week and think about, there are things starting to change already. Maybe they're small things, but things are changing. Oh my, I feel like a lot of chaos in my brain. What can I do about this? That daily meditation really takes the chaos out of the brain. And it may be spiritual parasites, which is an interesting thing. So if you're feeling a lot of stuff that isn't you moving around in there, that's probably spiritual parasites. Okay, so we're going to go into the function of the frontal lobe genius brain. Now, the frontal lobe located in the front of the brain, so that would be, let's take a look at it. It's this purple part here that we've got. That's located in the front of the brain. That's the frontal lobe, is part of 4 major lobes of the cerebral cortex in the mammalian brain. The frontal lobe is located at the front of each cerebral hemisphere and positioned in front of the parietal lobe, and above and in front of the temporal lobe. It is separated from the parietal lobe by a space between tissues called central sulcus, and from the temporal lobe by a deep fold called the lateral sulcus, also called the Sylvian fissure. The precentral gyrus, forming the posterior border of the frontal lobe, contains the primary motor cortex, which controls voluntary movement of specific body parts. The frontal lobe contains most of the dopamine-sensitive neurons in the cerebral cortex. The dopamine system is associated with reward, attention, short-term memory tasks, planning, and motivation. Dopamine tends to limit and select sensory information arriving from the thalamus to the forebrain. And remember, the thalamus is in the middle of the brain. A report from the National Institute of Mental Health says the gene variant that reduces dopamine activity in the prefrontal cortex is related to poorer performance and inefficient functioning of that brain region during working memory tasks and to a slightly increased risk for schizophrenia. Okay, and then I did grab also a kind of a report, a list of what happens when the frontal lobe isn't working properly. So the poor function of the frontal lobe. And I think this gives kind of more of a sense of the personality of the frontal lobe and its function. Loss of simple movement of various body parts, inability to plan a sequence of complex movements needed to complete multi-stepped tasks, such as making coffee, or dancing, or being able to follow movements in an aerobic class. This is where that's happening, that information sequencing that's in the frontal lobe. Loss of spontaneity in interacting with others, loss of flexibility in thinking, persistence of single thought. uh, preservation, the inability to focus on a task, mood changes, changes in social behavior, changes in personality, difficulty with problem solving, inability to express language. So, those were some of the things that had shown up when that region of the brain, the frontal lobe, isn't in top form. And then let's take a closer look. So, the frontal lobe is a pretty significant part of the brain, isn't it? It's this purple part here or this orange part here. And it's the most advanced part of the brain. Today, when we do the regeneration, we will be working with 3 master cells and about 6,000 stem cells. So we're going to be working with a lot of 3 master cells, and those cells were the cells that told this part of the brain how to develop, and then 6,000 stem cells. So we're going to start a cascade of new cell growth in the frontal lobe, and we are really exclusively working the frontal lobe. As you can see, it's a pretty significant part of the brain. And that's what we're going to be working on today. So let's just kind of pop back here to our clearing and see where we're at with our clearing. We're about 70% through. So I want to just keep working on this for a few more minutes, and then we're going to pop over and start the brain regeneration as soon as we get this cleared. Penny May, shall we do the daily meditation for 6 months? Yes, definitely. The longer, if you want to keep the regeneration going, that full length of time, you want to do either 30-minute meditation or 30 minutes of pumping. Both bring you into the quantum pleasure field. Asha, my memory has improved and my coordination has improved in Zumba. Okay, fantastic. And that's a good sign that things are definitely improving in the brain. Massive love. I love that. I'm feeling more confident when speaking to people. Very good. And so the speech center is improving, and also your sense of self. Asha, Julie Renee, the karma meditation that I bought has helped a great deal in giving me peace. That's fantastic, Asha. And the karma meditation, for some of you who are wrapped up in the energy of others, you don't ever get your certainty or your sense of self. If you're corded, you have shared energy with others. And so I highly recommend the karma clearing meditation. There's a little mini course on karma clearing. Whatever part of that, there's like 3 or 4 different options on the site, from very inexpensive $29 to $79. So I really want you to have that information, be able to free yourself from being entangled with others and have your own information. My sequencing in complex situations is weak. Well, good news, Asha, because that's what we're working on today once we get into the frontal lobe. So sequencing is a significant part of the frontal lobe. Okay, we're about 90% clear, so just keep pumping. We might do one song that might move things along. For those of you who are in classes ongoingly, you'll probably be familiar with, we often sing to have things move along a little faster. Oh, okay, the songbook doesn't seem to be up. I thought it was up. So I'll just pull that up real quickly for us. I think we'll do a little In the Stillness. That should move us through this really nicely, and then we can get to the regeneration. Let's see. Did we miss it? What was here? Just keep pumping. Let's see. I thought it was one of the first ones. There we go. That's what we're looking for. So if you know this or you want to learn it, just go ahead and sing along. In the stillness, in the quiet, in the open heart, there I am essence, I am breath, I am light of God, I am in the stillness, in the quiet, in the open heart, there I am essence, I am breath, I am light of God, I am. Okay, I see some comments coming in. Carolyn, I've been diagnosed with a seizure disorder years ago and was on anti-seizure drugs, which, as you know, blunt your frontal lobe. Fortunately, I've come down quite a bit on the meds and have been more access to my frontal lobe and seem to be gaining more access to that. That's great, Carolyn. And this will really help activate that again so that you'll have more access, even more. Margot, I have trouble verbalizing my thoughts. Will this help? It definitely can. And next week, again, we're problem solving. So if that's one of the things that's really problematic and you haven't seen as much improvement as you'd like, of course, it's hard to tell because we're just starting the brain regeneration. We can also focus on that. Penny May, I've had 6 general anesthetics and a couple of years ago, morphine, which affected my brain. Could this be true? Morphine does affect your brain, and so do the general anesthetics. So this is a real refresh by growing new cells. Asha, I really appreciate what you have done for us in this course. This course has been intense, but very rewarding. At times, I am pumping, I feel heavy. Is that spiritual pests? Could be. And I think the meditations, what we're doing is we're doing a very high energetic procedure. I've always done it for people. So you're, working in a very high regenerative field, and that could make you quite sleepy or tired if that's not the field you're used to living in. How about singing the one about stones we sang? It was really great. That's from Christy. Yeah, we can put the stones up. And Patty, you mentioned to me yesterday working with the heart that I need to ground in order not to get sleepy during pumping. This has been a huge issue for many years, affects me working with clients. Other people's energy often makes me sick. Is there something preventing me from grounding? Thank you. Sometimes, you could clear your right, permission, and ability to be grounded when you're with others and just, remove curses and evil spirit curses, control energy, that kind of stuff. So you could just go through the list, Patty, and I think that you'd be really happy with the changes, because once you clear that permission, right, and ability, you're going to find that things are so much easier. Okay. So we'll do one more song and then we'll start with the regeneration in the brain. We should be right where we need to be. So we'll do the Stones song. I need a drink. Okay. The stones, they are a-calling me, echoing through an eternity, calling out to set us free, the power of the stones. At dawn I walked in a circle of stones, a solar temple to me yet unknown, till by the strength of first morning light shone the power of the Stonehenge stones. They grounded the energy of this place and held us together in loving embrace, while beings of light danced above the space, bestowing on us their wisdom and grace. The Avebury stones were laughing at me, taunting me, tempting me, dancing with glee. Playful stones make love to me in the circle of the stones. The heavenly chambers from days of old, Newgrange stones were a circle to behold. I knelt in prayerful reverence for the power of the basin stone. I touched my forehead to the rock. It filled me with bright light and talk of the ancient people and their ways and the spirals of the stones. Stones are everywhere we look, medicine wheels and monolithic books. The wisdom of the circle flows in the temple of the stones. The stones, they are a-calling me, echoing through an eternity, calling out to set us free, the power of the stones. Yay! Okay, and back to our slides. Let's see how we're doing on our clearing. Should be done with what we've been working on. 98%, yep, almost there. Okay, and Patty, you mentioned yesterday working, okay, and I answered that one. And Asha, is it okay to pump during meditation? It definitely is. And Rosa, can the impact of a car accident cause interference of the rejuvenation process? I was in a car accident a week ago and wonder if I need to do anything. The meditations and pumping should help. Oh, and you're welcome, Christy. But yes, you can be in trauma and your regeneration can freeze up because you're in survival. So yeah, we can turn that back on. So make sure that you get out of survival and back into regeneration. You know, understanding that regeneration happens when the body is fairly relaxed. That's one of the reasons we really insist that you go into the meditation space, the quantum pleasure field every day. So even if you're in fight or flight at some point in the day, you can go back into that quantum regeneration and keep renewing it every day. My hand wants to do this slide as well. No, just do the quantum pump today, Penny May. So that's the slide is, we're not, well, Is there DNA in this? DNA for her. Yeah, just keep doing the quantum pump or the double pump. That's going to be better for you, honey. Okay. The song gave me chills. I've been to Stonehenge and other sites. Oh, wonderful. I love that song. It's one of my favorites. Last week you checked me on language and blocks. I had, can you check please if I am better? Thank you. And understand, Maria, that we are actually working some of the language centers now today. So I think it would be better for me to check you next week than it would right now, since we are working some of those fields, some of those areas of the brain. And Maria, I do test so that you are 50% better, so things are definitely improving in the language center. Okay, we can go on now to brain regeneration. And again, we're working to regenerate 3 master cells and about 6,000 stem cells in this area. So we'll put that down, 6,000 stem cells. Remembering that the master cells are the cells that were with you about 7 days after your conception. So those are the ones that hold the information for the brain regeneration, and we're beginning to pump for that right now. And we're working with getting the master cells to 100%, remembering that the master cell is a little body unto itself, and it has all the little absorption, digestion, elimination organelles, nucleus like the brain. So it really does have its own little body with all the organs in it. Each cell does. And so we're regenerating that cell. And what we're doing is we're really accessing the human blueprint and the perfected cell, and we're bringing that perfected cell back into physical reality in your body. And then we'll be starting a cascade of new cell growth using the mitochondria, the little caterpillar-like fuel generator of the cell down here. So you can see that. Once we get that to 100%. So we are pumping. Remember that we're pumping to reinitiate 100% function from the blueprint to the physical cells, all parts. So membrane, nucleus, absorption, organelle, elimination, DNA, mitochondria, and all the parts of the master cell. So everything that we've looked at in this image. So that's what we're working on right now. We're going to be pumping for a while on that. Obviously, we have a lot of cells we're bringing back into their higher state of function. Okay, Asha, I just wanted to say to you, when you chant, you also carry the Spirit of Christ. It is such a beautiful experience. I seem to clear more when I listen to the chanting. Oh, that's beautiful, Asha. Thank you. I feel very, very close to Jesus Christ, the avatar and friend. Could you, let's see, yay, thanks from Maria. And Asha, could you please let me know if I'm clear from the clearings from last week? If not, how long do I need to pump? No, you're clear, Asha, you are clear. Anyway, I've got red lines in my eyes when they are usually clear. I'm not sure what you call it. It's parasite on the move. My eyes feel tired as well. Lines tend to be floaters. Red lines, it's interesting. Are they parasites? You know, Penny May, one of the things that really helps with that kind of a phenomenon is drinking more water. So I would just highly recommend that you just sip all day long. That's going to help some. So that shouldn't be there. I noticed it this morning after yesterday's class. Yeah, so drink more water, and then you can also pump to clear it. Yeshwant, Julie Renee, does this class include spinal cord, spinal nerve regeneration also? I had cervical canal injury C4, 5, and 7 compression 5 years ago. Thanks so much. You know, Yeshwant, it doesn't, because this is just totally about the brain and neurons. But that's a very good suggestion that we might do a spinal regeneration class also. I'll take that into consideration, making myself a note. I think there are probably a lot of people who would appreciate that as a supplement to work that they might do with their chiropractor, is to actually have the spine and all of its aspects regenerated. And I do know there's a place in the schedule for another class later in the year, though not right away, spine class. So I'm making a note on that. We do a little bit of spine work in Grow Younger Cell Regeneration Made Easy, but very specifically, that would be a great thing to focus on. So thank you for that good question, and I'd love to help you with that with the class. So that's a great idea. Victoria, when there's mental illness in the family, do we need to clear the bloodline? Definitely, Victoria. Bloodline, clan, DNA, group mind virus. And understand, I want to say, and I'm going to come back on and just look at you while I'm talking, that mental illness in the family can be a real blessing for you. If you can get out of the patterns, the poor patterns of mental illness, what mental illness can be is an ability to access your clairvoyance, your clairaudience, your clairsentience, your intuitive nature. So when you take that gift of mental illness, you get rid of all the low function of mental illness, then what you have and what you can become is a clear visionary seer. You can be, I know in the tribe that I did ceremony with the Native Americans in the Santa Cruz Mountains at Windtree Temple, they designated me as the visionary and the seer who needed protection. And so the whole tribe came around me to protect me. And they said I was born with this incredible vision and this incredible gift. And that's a mentally ill mother and ongoingly generations of mental illness, untreated mental illness. So, what alcoholism and mental illness can be really the blessing if you're really going for the purity in your life. So understand, clear away that dysfunction, and what you have is magnificent and what everybody wants, or a lot of people want. So just know a mental illness in the family could be the biggest blessing you could possibly have. As long as you get it under control. Meditation daily, doing the that's not me when things show up that aren't you, getting your chemistry balanced properly, unplugging from spiritual parasites so that you're not being so influenced or not being influenced at all by spiritual parasites. All of that is the path to really being an amazing seer. So yay for all of those of you who have mental illness in the family. Okay. Asha, thank you. You're welcome. Gentry, first chance for me to catch a live class. I know, that's a new name to me. Would love to know if my clearings are all up to date with class 3. I've been doing all the classes and homework, but I'm having difficulty assessing clearing completeness through muscle testing. Please let me know if I need to do more pumping. Thank you. I'm so glad you're on this live call, Gentry. That's great. So class 1, you need about 3 hours more clearing on class 1. Class 2, another 4 hours of clearing, so far 7. And class 3, you totally cleared. You nailed it. So class 1 and 2, so you have about 7 more hours of pumping. And I think then you'll be really caught up. So good. I'm glad you got on the call. Kathleen Liu, it would be amazing to do a spinal class too. I'm just excited about that. It didn't dawn on me, but why not? We do it, just barely touch on it in the Grow Younger Cell Regeneration Made Easy in our second week in the bone regeneration. But, what can you do in an hour? If you had actually 4 1-hour classes, or you just maybe did a 3-hour marathon class on the spinal regeneration, that would be good. Brain and spinal cord is connected, and one actually, it's an extension of the medulla oblongata. Beautiful, Yeshwant. Well, and we could also say that the heart is also connected, because the heart is neurons, and the heart is a brain too. I have to kind of just pick the areas and work on that. But I agree with you. Everything is so intimately connected. With mental illness, what chemistry tends to be in need of balance? What to take on? What is your take on gut health and its influence on brain regeneration? Ooh, many questions here. So on chemistry balancing, it could be the neurotransmitters, which you talked a little bit about, like the dopamine and things like that. Um, or could be mental illness, could be depression, like not enough serotonin, maybe too much of the stimulating neurotransmitters, but also when you look at hormonal effects, so the hormones being off either too high or too low. So that kind of a thing. We do have a chemistry class. And then on gut health and the influence on the brain regeneration, gut health obviously is intimately related to the brain. We're not going to actually touch on it, however, in this class, but I actually know that there are experts who, who are in the medical profession who say if you get the brain right or you get the gut health right, the other one gets right also. Sorry, I meant how more do I need to pump for Asha? Um, so leftover from one of the classes. You could pump for another extra 3 hours, Asha. Last week, there's maybe a few more things that you could pump up, specifically for schizophrenia and psychosis, and that's from Christy. Psychosis and schizophrenia. Well, that's Christy, that's a good question. Obviously, body chemistry has to be off to have that issue. But I also want you to be thinking about repairing the Swiss cheese aura. So when I see psychosis and schizophrenia, I also see damage over lifetimes to the auric field. And so the auric field becomes more like Swiss cheese with big holes in it where spirits can come in and out. And so it's spiritual parasites. So you want to repair the aura and then clear the spiritual parasites as well. So that would be something to really focus on. And, walking in nature, living in nature is really healing for the aura if a person isn't skilled at going in and rewiring themselves. So the natural world will heal a person over a lifetime. And that's a really good opportunity to, experience getting well over time. Being put into an institution, unless it's one out in the country where they go for long walks, probably isn't going to make a lot of difference. So, yeah. Gut health could be a whole new class. We actually do a whole 3-hour training on digestion in Your Year of Miracles. So we really do work on that. And then we do it in the 3 or 4 hours we work on the digestion in the diamond training also. So we do have some areas where we are working on that. So you might tap in because we have, blocks of time on that. Okay. And Asha, another question from Asha, dyslexia. Okay. Oh, and that's the 3 hours of pumping. So that's what I answered a minute or two ago. 3 hours. And then Diana saying, I definitely appreciate a spinal class, have a tethered spinal cord due to a birth defect, arthritic disc. Okay, I'm going to put it in the schedule. Yeshwant, can I still join the addictions class? Addictions is the biggest self-sabotage in my life, and success made me miss the class by making me think the addiction class is on the 26th. Yeah, the addiction class was yesterday, and we had such miracles. I just prepared a little email to go out, so it's coming out at 1 today for those of you who missed it and want to get in on it. and you can just participate by watching the video, listening to the audio. We'll be having transcripts also of the class. And my feeling was only half of the people that needed to be in that class were there, maybe even less than half. We had a good group, and the questions that were asked were phenomenal. We did so many clearings in the addiction class, it's going to blow you away. And people were so surprised at all the different topics we covered and how we cleared in so many different ways. So I think, yes, please, you'll get an email at 1 o'clock and just immediately jump in there and you'll get the training. So that would be great. I'm, again, so tired since a few days ago. I'm so tired, a lot of tension in my neck right now, feeling weak. Is there an issue that I need to clear? Do I have a spiritual parasite? Thanks. Let's take a look at that, Sybil Maria. Okay, what I'd like you to do is just imagine unplugging from any cords with people. It looks to me like there's some cords from somebody who's interacting with you that's extremely tired, and you're picking up their energy. So it's like you're trying to heal them by sharing their energy. So, and I'll help you remove those cords right now so that you're not tapped into that. So we're going to remove the cords and then any shared energy. And that should make a world of difference. And then let's see. Yeah, and there are 4 spiritual parasites. Alien type 5, 3 implants, mechanisms, 1, 2, 3, 4 mechanisms. And that should do it. So if you just do a little clearing on that, a doorknob for about 20 minutes. A doorknob for about 20 minutes should get that all cleaned up for you. Nadia, I'm feeling a lot of pressure and movement in my head. That's a good sign. More so lately. Can you see what that is? Alien. Pressure means that they're fighting against you, kicking them out, but it's an alien type 4 holographic insert. 5 of them. So work, and Nadia, I know you're one of my immersion students. If you could go through the spiritual parasite pages, that would be very wonderful. And just double check, since we're not doing spiritual parasites today, but I've got you what I see right away. But if you could just go through what we went through when we were last together, where we did all this wonderful stuff. And just test for yourself and see what's there. There might be, something that I didn't immediately pick up on. I'd love for you to double check, and then send me an email on your results, and I'll double check it for you in an email so that we start helping you develop that skill to find those for yourself. And thank you for asking. I'm really happy that you did. Christy, thank you. I think the dynamism meditation would be helpful to repair the aura too. Yes, that potentially could be quite wonderful. Yeah, dynamism is really restores the energy and power in your body. So it definitely could help with the aura. So another idea is to just make a real powerful aura meditation. All of when I'm in the sound studio, I don't know when that's going to be, but that's a great idea, though. Really specific to the aura. All of the meditations I do have some aura clean out. But yeah, dynamism is really good also for kicking spiritual parasites out. So because you're prolonged, you're in the body for quite a long time. What I love about dynamism is it's also connecting the chakras and the organs, and it's empowering you. So I think that's really amazing. Okay, and Jyoti, blessings, Julie Renee. Would you also check for me for each class? Many thanks. Sure. Class 1, 100% cleared. Class 2, 3 hours more of pumping. Class 3, 2 hours of pumping. Okay, so that was for Jyoti. And Gentry, while I do the 7 more hours of pumping for clearing, do I need to be specifically focused on the clearing, something in particular? Should I go down the list while pumping? Yeah, you should go down the list while pumping. I think, Gentry, if you do the replays of the ones I told you, the classes that I said, oh, you've got a little bit of this and a little bit from that, and one was clear. If you use the replay, that'll actually speed up the hours of time too. So I think that would be really helpful. And go down the list, definitely. Excellent. And in both your Year of Miracles and Diamond Immersion. Yay for gut health. Thank you. Fantastic, Sharon. And then Roxanne, it was the bomb. Not sure what was the bomb, but fantastic. I love it. Please, can you do a live class again on addiction? Yes, we have it already scheduled for next year. I tell you what, you guys, I did double classes Monday and Tuesday, and talk about one tired cookie here. I was just exhausted, so I've kind of got to keep it to one class a day. But it was amazing. And maybe I'll just put a possibility that around the first of the year, when New Year's resolutions come up, that we might do another addictions class. However, use the replay, buy the class as a home study. If that's an issue for you, do it right away. Don't wait until I put another class in. It will be next year again, for sure. It's part of our special class series, and it's phenomenal. It's 3 hours. It's all in one shot. So you're going to just be pumping and clearing and pumping and clearing. And yeah, go for it. And that was my feeling too, is that, more than half of the students that should have been in the class just, we had kind of like a jackpot going on, at the end, right before the class was starting, where people were able to sign up right before the class. It was really funny how it was bing, 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 and you could see the people signing up. So we had a really small number the day before, and all of a sudden we're having, a whole bunch of people sign up all at once. And I was thinking that's part of the addictive nature, is to wait until it's over and then go, oh shoot, I missed it. So I thought that was funny for that class to just see bing, 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 how everybody was signing up at the last second. Okay. I'm not sleeping well, Julie Renee. I wake up 3 or 4 times a night. Can you check on what I need to clear? That usually is adrenals. And Maria, I tested it is partly adrenals. So your adrenals are waking you up. So you got to get the stress out of your body. Use the Fatigue to Fabulous meditation. It's a free one that we give to people. Use that every day before bedtime. And that should help quite a bit, but you want to heal your adrenals so that your body feels relaxed, because it'll stimulate the brain to wake up, and it will release a chemical to wake up, because it'll put you back into kind of wake up, fight or flight. And sometimes it's also eating just a little bit, a cracker with some protein on it, a little carb with protein to put in your tummy right before you fall asleep, so that the body doesn't think it's starving, that there's something that you're processing during the night. Okay, and let's put this back up so you can see what we're working on. And again, we're working on the cell regeneration, and we're working on, it's kind of fun to look at this chart, the 3 master cells and 6,000 stem cells. So that's what we're working on regenerating right now. And we're about 30%. Oh, shoot. Oh, we're at 9:55. How did that happen? 30% through with this. Oops. Okay, so let's all really focus. We've got 5 minutes. I'd love to get us a little bit further than we are. 30% is not where we want to be on the frontal lobe. So everybody double pumping, getting your feet going. Let's see if we can make this move a little faster. And I think what we're going to end up doing, since I can't believe the time went by so fast. It felt like 9:30 to me. How did that happen? Woo. Okay, so I'm going to ask you all to stay on a few extra minutes and keep pumping while the videos are running. But double pump, everybody double pumping and full intention on getting the master cells and stem cells to 100% so we can start that cascade of new cell growth while we're together. I'm also just sleeping, but enjoying it since brain rejuvenation started. I'm postponing everything for that. Hope it's okay. Okay, I don't know what that means. Carolyn, Julie Renee, do I need to do additional clearing from any of the classes? Thank you. Class 3, about 4 hours would be good for you. 4 hours more pumping. Am I still at 100% for the last 3 brain classes, please? You are Penny May, and thank you very much from Jyoti and Barbara. Can you check me for the last 3 classes? Class 1, you could do another 2 hours if you wanted to, Barbara, on class 1, class 2. Oh, 5 hours on class 2, but the brain regeneration is perfectly fine. So it would be some clearing related to the areas that we covered in class 2. And class 3 is about 20 minutes more for class 3 for Barbara. Am I clear for the first 3 classes having difficulty with muscle testing? And that's Patty. Class 1, clear. Class 2, 4 hours. Class 3, about 30 minutes to clear. Neela, I've been feeling extremely exhausted with depression for a week or more. Could you please check on what this weighing me down? Thanks so much. Neela, just pump to clear a timeline, excuse me, a cycle. There's something that is just kind of looped up that is something that you go through a cycle. And it's not frequent. It's something that you wouldn't even be conscious that it's a cycle, like it's 30 years apart or something. But just clear a cycle and then, stay with, I'm so grateful for and I appreciate my life so much. And that should take you right out of that. I agree with Aisha. Addiction class should be now immediately. Will replay have the same effect as the live class? It definitely will, Yeshwant. Yeah, it will. Okay, yeah, so just, jump right in, grab the home study program that we've set up for you and watch it. Plus, I'm seeing you guys signing up because you're in the right after. So understand that in classes, I keep a list of all the students up on the screen as I'm working with you. Maria, thank you. Rosa, okay, so I see a few more questions and we're right at the end of class. Let me quickly go through. Here's what we're going to be doing while the video is playing. We're going to do the mirroring and the cascade of new cell growth, but we're not there yet. So you'll have to watch the chat box for me to let you know when we go there. Being part of the Inner Circle, the Quantum Activations Apprentice online program, Your Year of Miracles, and Immersion Practitioners Training. We've got a beautiful program coming up, Women Only Simply Beautiful program. It's an 8-week program. The immersion programs online are in August and Carmel Valley at my house. Everyday Magnetism is the wealth program. Emotional Balance is coming up. End to allergies, removal of infections, full body ownership. Quantum Baby Connection is for those of you who want to get pregnant and maybe have had a difficulty or just want everything tuned up. Better Sleep, for all of you that are asking about Better Sleep, we've got a program specific for sleeping. Spiritual Parasites is coming up. Inner and Outer Vision in Your Year of Miracles and Brain Regeneration. Healing the Global Wound of Violence is coming up on Friday this week. It's a free community call. Emotional Freedom is coming up on the 4th of July. All right, my dears, I love you. Have a wonderful day. I will be in the chat box with you for at least 10 minutes, so we're going to keep pumping and hopefully get this frontal lobe regeneration going right now. I'll let you know if there's any homework when I send out the follow-up email, and I'll let you know in the chat box as we complete the pumping for the next 10 minutes or so. So do stay on, watch the videos, and I'm going to be answering questions. Pump. Double pump, everybody pumping, because we want to get that regeneration fully engaged for the frontal lobe. I love you. Bye for now.